All right, and welcome everyone to the Ginette Biro Podcast. I'm Ginette Biro, and thank you as always for joining me on the show as we dive into exploring concepts of consciousness and everything in the world of spirit and woo. Now, today we are doing the September energy update. I'm going to keep doing these once a month because in chatting with my guides, they were saying that so much is changing. So for us to do a deep dive into the energies of every month kind of helps us all have a sense of what's going on and then choose consciously, as always, what we do about it. So today I have a couple different things I want to talk about. Some is really good. Some is a little, I don't know, not the best, but what I've really learned from Spirit is that they will give us the insights of turbulence so that we really have a hand in choosing how we deal with it, so that we're not caught off guard. And that's actually really a gift once we come to see it that way, that it's not about living in a state of fear, but it's about living in a state of empowerment because we can, ponder it a little bit before things happen. So the first thing I want to talk about is the goodness. I really want to start with the goodness because this is really the foundation for all the shifts and things that are coming into play. And the goodness is this idea of golden light. Now, the last month I spent a lot of time in August out in nature, out connecting with Mother Earth, really diving into that knowledge of Gaia in connection or in conjunction with the knowledge of the cosmos. So I have spent a ton of time in expanded consciousness, and I'm excited to be able to share this with you guys because this gave me a lot of hope. This gave me a lot of peace of mind and peace in my heart of where we're going. And it also gave me a lot of understanding of how much the higher realms are invested in humanity thriving through all these changes and shifts. So coming back to this golden light that I understand is starting September 1st, we have an ignition point of higher light consciousness coming to the planet once again. And this higher light consciousness is really coming in conjunction with the solar flares that are happening. So in the last week, we've seen a bunch of solar flares, solar activity, which has an effect on the geomagnetic energy of the Earth, which we've talked about, which also has an effect on our own auras, our individual auras. So just like the Earth has an aura of magnetic energy, so do our individual bodies. And so these all play together. So when the sun burps out solar energy, the Earth feels it and undulates with it, just as we feel it individually and our auras undulate. So for some of you that had any experiences in the last week where you felt really wobbly, really wonky in your energy, tired, dizzy, off, just odd, like really odd, a lot of that was due to these solar flares. Now, that's the physical happening, is the solar flares and how it has an influx on our energy. But the higher realm connection to this, I've talked a lot about solar consciousness and how the sun's light has light code information in it. It is not just a light source that helps things grow on our planet and help us keep warm, but it actually has energetic information that our bodies can interpret. It can understand, interpret, and then help increase our own frequency and vibration. So with these solar flares that we've been having, and some have called it like a solar tsunami, this big influx of energy that has really knocked off some of the human resonance energy graphs. It's knocked them offline sometimes. This is an influx of higher consciousness energy. And so to make that really simple, this is like being showered in an energy of consciousness, in an energy of compassion, in an energy of higher thought. But that energy of higher thought, love, and compassion from the higher realms comes with a higher frequency. So just as I said, the electromagnetic energy can have a warp on our aura, which we have to recalibrate to, the higher energy frequency, higher thought form, causes our bodies to also want to adjust to that. And that can also create a fatigue, a weird energy of a more rapid heart rate, or just feeling edgy or off, or what's going on. Anytime we have a higher frequency energy like a spirit guide, or in this case, light frequency consciousness, when it comes near our bodies often react by trying to calibrate to the same frequency. If it is a really high frequency, our bodies have to work harder to try and recalibrate to it. And oftentimes that creates a physical sensation of anxiety or a feeling of like panicky energy or whatnot. That is so very common when connecting with spirits first, when you're not used to it. But this same sort of thing is happening with this higher energy light coming in, this golden light energy. But the beautiful thing is with this coming direct from the sun, and the sun being the representation of this higher consciousness, with that coming down and kind of washing the planet in the bursts that it's doing, it's like raining down this love and compassion energy to wash over everybody. And that's a really big thing. And Spirit had said in the last several podcasts, or a few podcasts ago, they talked about solar flares. And they talked about this energy coming into play. And they even talked about it last fall. And so we're seeing that happening now. And it's happening now because it's really timely to help try and balance out the surfacing of a lot of this dark, turbulent stuff that we have seen happen over the summer, which is what Spirit said. Back in June, I believe, May or June, they said July and August would be really dark. July would be dark, which it was, especially with all the forest fires and the literal darkness. And that August would come down with a ton of bricks, and it has. There has been a lot of stuff that has come out in the media, in many different categories. That has been a lot. Now, at the same time, by spending all this time in nature like I did, Spirit was able to really come through and also bring equal amounts of light and positivity and how this is gonna, play out for people. And so this is what we're stepping into, this balancing energy that started September 1st, is working in our favor. This helps to kind of try and push an encouragement to returning of a higher consciousness. Do you remember how they would talk about the different ages? We had the Iron Age, the Silver Age, but the Golden Age, right? The Golden Age of Egypt, the Golden Age of consciousness. This golden light coming down onto our planet right now is the light that was washed on the planet during those times of golden light, Golden Age consciousness. This is the same thing. Now, this doesn't mean that September suddenly the entire world is going to shift into higher consciousness and all of a sudden we're all enlightened. It doesn't mean that, but it means the higher realms of light are working equally as hard right now to balance out the darkness that we're seeing, the turbulence that we're seeing, and the storms, both physically and metaphorically, that we're seeing. So we have a big push of support coming in that has really just been awakened in August. And what that means is there's enough people on the planet that have started shifting back to that higher state of consciousness again, like we saw December 21st, 2020 at the solstice. There was like a 51%, 49%, 51 of them being more open and awakening to moving forward. We've come back into that because throughout the beginning of the year, we actually pulled back a bit and we dipped back into the smaller percentage of awakening because fear really took over. But now we've just kind of come forward enough to be shifting forward again, which is a good thing. This puts us in alignment with Earth moving forward, cosmos moving forward. Enough of humanity is just inching us forward right now. And that is why this is good news. And I wanted to share that good news first to really give you guys a sense of like something is working. Because with that though, we still are going to be seeing a lot of heightened activity through September, now into October. Spirit had said before we would see it into September and October, we'd be moving forward. Although many planets are moving forward come October, not in retrograde anymore, and whenever the planets are moving forward, a lot of our things in our worlds move forward. Although the planets are going to be moving forward in October, it's probably going to be around November at this point in a snapshot that we see more fruits of the things moving forward. So for September, we are still going to be seeing a a lot of fiery action. Some of that might be literal fires still, but also fiery action in terms of polarity in politics, fiery energy. They're telling me with the pandemic still, we're still going to see an influx of numbers. But that's not to be feared again either. That's for you to tune into you and find your personal sense of self, your personal choices, and following through on what brings you peace. But we're also going to be seeing this firing up of other things that need to be shown. So we've had a lot of surfacings of things that haven't been nice to look at or to know about, but we're still going to be seeing a bit more of that coming into September as well. So when you see those things come up that really trigger you into thinking the world is over and it's ending and it's just basically gone for shit, pardon my language, it hasn't. Remember that these solar flares, which are physical things we can Google and scientifically see, are physical proof of how the energy of the higher realms are really coming in to support the changes. Now, at the same time, what you can do about this right now is you can really dive into things in your world and your life that need to be cleared out. Again, anytime we are triggered with events or situations, if there is a triggering for us personally, that is an opportunity to look at what that is, what it means for you, if it still applies, or if you're ready to let it go. And there's many ways in which you can let go, but Spirit is talking specifically about emotional baggage. What emotional baggage that you really no longer need can you let go? And so if you get triggered into something that makes you very emotional, like emotionally triggered, ask yourself where that's coming from. And if you can find the root of where that's coming from, if you can either label it or draw it out and then figure out what it needs, ask it what it needs to be mended and what it needs that you can actually control in the mending, then you can move forward to put it to rest and clean it out. Because it's like cleaning out the closet right now. Take this time to clean out the closet, because with this golden light, you're going to be able to fill your closet with things that make you feel good. And if you have the space for it, you have more space for the things that make you feel good. So observe what's happening come September. Observe the things that come up. How do you feel about it? And you may even be surprised. They're reminding me right now. You may be surprised that some things that used to trigger you don't trigger you anymore. And let that be a moment of like giving yourself a pat on the back for what you have done and what you have grown into. Because you'll be surprised, and they've got these big smiles on their faces right now saying, take the moments of gratitude to feel good about how far you've come. Because some of the things that are going to come up, you're going to be able to look at and be like, wow, 2 years ago, that would have triggered me into a big uproar of, you name it. But look at me now. I'm able to step back, send love to this side, send love to that side, and not get involved. So check into where you have evolved, because some of the things that come up might actually be just indicators to let you see how far you've come. So checking into your emotional baggage is going to be something that you can really get a sense of. Now, the other thing they want to do too is they want to encourage us through September is to check in with your absolute truths. And this is an interesting one. Check in with it from a place of being slightly removed. Is what you believe to be true now still accurate? And there's no right or wrong answer for this. If it's still accurate, it's still accurate. But if it has changed, give it room to change. Because Spirit is saying with the amount of changes we had happen throughout the summer, what was accurate, even energetically, say in May, may be vastly different for you now. So if you have an opinion that was really accurate in May about, say, who you felt you were in the world, what you feel your purpose is, what direction you want to go, what your belief is on A, B, C, or D, whatever it may be, check in and see if it has changed, because you may find that it has changed and evolved. Because again, if the collective, like I said in the beginning, has managed to inch itself forward to this 51% moving forward now, that means there's a collective energy that has had an effect on you as well. So check in with what your truth is and see if there's anything in there that can shift, knowing that if things do change, change is okay. You are allowed to change at any point. There's no point in your journey in which you need to stay the same because you decided you would be one thing and therefore you are that belief, that job, that identity, that whatever your whole life. You are allowed to change because your journey is about evolution. Your personal journey, as I mentioned in the last podcast or the one before, this is about your journey. And so if it needs to morph and change, give it the room to morph and change. And like they said, when you clear out emotional baggage, you make room for what you would want to morph and change. And some of that might be based on your personal truths. So they're saying check into the personal truths. And then also, with your personal truth is really sorry, they're trying to explain it to me at the same time, really come to this understanding or an openness to rewrite what is your responsibility now and where you need courage and where you need surrender. So that's a really interesting one too. Changing your perspective of what your personal truth is will maybe change your perspective of where you need courage and where you actually need to surrender, because that may have changed for you as well. So basically what they're getting at is this summer, like they said, was this big mixed bag of all kinds of potentials. And we saw a lot of things happen, both physically and energetically. And now we are in this phase of movement. But it's a phase of movement that still has a lot of potentials to it, but we're actually moving now, which is why they're saying reassess your personal truths and check in where you need courage and where you actually need surrender now, because it's all going to shift and change in some cases, and not for everyone. Some of you listening might be like, no, I am set in my truth. That is what brings me peace. That is what I know. And if that's the case, this is merely a reminder for you to check in, and if it's good, keep going. That's it. There's no wrong. There's simply your journey. So with that, the last thing they wanted to share with September is, again, because there is so much energy coming down from the cosmos, this golden light energy, a lot of upheaval happening on planet Earth, the more you can connect into the energies of Gaia, like Mother Earth, the deeper frequencies within her, the more you're going to harmonize that piece in between. So it's kind of like they're showing me like an Oreo cookie, okay? We got the cosmos coming in, like the hard outer shell. We've got Gaia, Mother Earth, and her deep energies within that bottom shell. But in between is that cream filling. Now you have the opportunity with all those things to make it be a beautiful, super yummy, maybe it's mint, chocolate, sprinkles, cream filling in between. That's what I would want. That's what I'm creating in my world. Mint chocolate sprinkles. And I'm going to create this really thick layer of cream filling because that is super tasty. You have the ability to create what that is what they're getting at, right? If you connect into those top energies and those bottom energies, you can determine the rate or the thickness of that yummy filling of an Oreo cookie. If you're not aware, you may just get that little mini thin line one. Again, it's up to you, and it depends on how much you dive in as the wealth that you get out. What you put in, you get out in wealth of happiness, abundance, creativity, open opportunities, relationships, you name it. The more you go into self, the more you create room for the life you want to live, is really what it is. And so September has a lot still coming to the surface, but a golden, beautiful light of energy shining down from above that really lets us move forward. So really take that, run with it, see what it can unfold for you, and I will continue to bring you guys updates and insights as things carry on, because we are evolving, but we are moving. We are meant to be making changes on this planet this year. This year is a big year for shifting, and I believe so much in humanity's ability. I believe in your ability. I believe in my ability. We are here, all of us, for a reason at this time, to come back to peace, to come back to harmony, to come back to compassion for everyone. Moving forward, I truly believe we can do this. So I'll leave you with that message for now. Do check out Avalon Spirit though, you guys. There's lots of great stuff on there. And if you haven't already, check out Avalon Spirit Group on Facebook. It's a great community. Super happy to have you guys there. I'm on there every day posting stuff, and there's a lot of people that share beautiful things there as well. So do check it out. As well, You can also check out the Avalon Spirit Coffee Talk, which is where myself, Elise Cathry, and Lisa Richmond, we are the mediums and channelers of Avalon Spirit. We connect in once a week and share insights of what we get. So that's a great one to check. If you're really enjoying these podcasts, check out that one on the Avalon Spirit YouTube page. But if you haven't already and you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit like and subscribe, especially subscribe, because I'm going to be giving away a great prize plus personal reading again to someone once we reach that 1,000 mark. I'm really excited and I'm really grateful for all of you. So if you have already subscribed, don't worry, you are definitely in the draw. You will not be forgotten. I love and appreciate you. And for any of you guys that are new to my channel, thanks so much. Thanks for listening. And I'm so happy to have you here. So thank you guys all so much. Have a great week, and I will chat with you next week.